Can I move this just for the moment and put it back up there when you, that's fine, that's perfect.
You need to lip or?
Well, maybe just, I don't have to do. Thanks. I'll just, need to be zoomed. Huh, yeah, no, I hear you.
Check your mail. It's the second group that sends you theirs. And then they send you whatever they're showing. Yes, yes, he said, yes. PNG, they're the second ones. Adam first is he has his own. Right, but did he send it to you for the Zoom PDC?
He said, Eric said he sent something in PDF to you about 30 minutes ago that needed to be hooked up for the presentation.
That's from Dan.
Or Dan,
Second.
this guy over here, the long-haired guy with the beard.
Yes, yes.
Him.
That's the second presenter.
The second presenter. No, Adam's good.
Okay. Is he showing? Yeah. Okay, I'll check with Stacy.
Are we good on Zoom? Yeah. Is this mic hot? Okay. All right, folks, we're gaveling in. If you would please take your seats. If you have not signed in, if you would, please just take the moment to go back there and talk to Jana and make sure that you've documented your attendance. We appreciate it. All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the February 28 meeting of the Tampa Heights Civic Association. Thank you for coming. We've got a great attendance. I'm impressed that you all found us and didn't wind up over at the center. That's what I thought was going to happen tonight. But anyway, good for you guys. You all showed up. My name's Rick Fernandez. I'm the president of the association. Actually, it's my second time through. I served 3 years a while back, and now I'm back again as a recidivist. So I'm going to do my best. We've gotten a lot more technical in the time since I left in 2019, so I'm still trying to get myself oriented to the various Zoom protocols. So let me start off with that for anyone that's speaking tonight or that may have questions during the Q&A. I'm holding a mic. There's a mic here. This mic is for us. This mic is for people that were not able to attend and they're zooming in. Jason Gonzalez back here is manning the fort for the Zoom, all right? So we need a staff of 10 just to have a meeting now, it appears. So here we are. So I don't know who all is attending by Zoom, but we must have a few. This is for their pleasure. Whoever is speaking will need both of these mics somewhere near them so everyone will be able to hear. So if you would please just try to keep that in mind. If you have questions during the meeting, which we certainly encourage, one of two ways to approach that. If you ask the question from your place, please speak up very loudly. That may or may not do the job for Zoom, but we're going to ask the presenters who are answering the question to please repeat the question for the Zoom audience. Or, option two, walk on up here, take your position at the podium, and ask your question. You'll be on camera, and then go back and sit down and take whatever comes, all right? So just try to keep that in mind. We'll remind you. Appreciate it. Let's see. We now have a few announcements. This won't take long, I promise. We have a board now that has been fully installed. Those of you who came in January were part of the annual meeting and the election of officers who had been announced as of that time. Since then, the board has appointed the additional members of the board per our bylaws. So I just want to take a moment, and if you're here, stand and just be recognized. I'd like to recognize the members of our board very quickly. If I know you're not here, well, I'll mention your name anyway. First, me, Rick Fernandez. We already did that. First Vice President is Kareem Young. I know he's home with a sick child today. Second Vice President is Jana Davis, who's back in the back taking names. Hey, Jana, thank you. Treasurer is Billy Dobbins. Recording Secretary is Evan Lindberg. Corresponding Secretary is Ted Marcello. Teddy's on Zoom. Hey, Teddy. Northwest Rep is Matt St. Green. Hey, Matt. Faith Wind is the Northeast representative. Thought I saw Faith. No? All right. Southwest Rep is Paul Rabeau. Southeast Rep is Jim Hartnett. Jim's here. Hey, Jimmy. Rep at Large is Lena Young-Green, right over here to my right. Parliamentarian is Brian Seal, back of the room. And Jason Gonzalez, as I mentioned earlier, is our management assistant. Not a member of the board, but we'll have a hard time functioning without him, so very glad he's here. All right, quick announcements. We have a porch party coming up March the 8th. That'll be at the community garden. I understand that's to start at 6 o'clock, and I was told today that this is around the time of the time change. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to affect things, but at any event, keep your eyes open for further announcements. You're going to hear about the porch party again after tonight. But March the 8th at the community garden, that always turns out to be a very nice event. The Florida Department of Transportation is hosting an open house regarding the construction activities related to the downtown interchange, one of my favorite topics. This is Tuesday, March the 5th. They're holding a virtual event from 11 to 1 p.m. And then on Thursday, March the 7th, there will be a brick and mortar event at 7 p.m. And this will be at the Hillsborough County Bar offices over by Stetson on Tampa Street, 1610 North Tampa Street. Obviously, the work being done on the interstate generally affects us all, the downtown interchange. Many of us live, work, and play in the shadow of that monster. So if you're interested in what they're doing, when they're going to do it, come on down. I'm sure they will have a lot of artist renditions, and there will be FDOT representatives there to answer your questions. So hopefully you'll be able to make it, and preferably to the brick and mortar event, because that tends to be a much better give and take experience. Matt St. Green had an announcement that he wanted me to offer up. Matt, you're here. You want to just tell folks?
Yeah, so we're going to be doing a Northwest Quadrant community yard sale the weekend following Easter, so that's April 6th and 7th. So there'll be signs put out and door hangers going out the next 2 weeks. But to save the date for people in that Northwest Quadrant, there'll be community yard sale to help the neighborhood get rid of all this spray paint stuff.
Okay. I will follow my own rules as far as Zoom. That announcement was a Northwest Quad community yard sale, April 6 and 7. That's the basics. I'll leave the ornamentation for later. What, Lena? Lena just asked the question, what is the Northwest Quadrant? I can answer that question. Actually, it's a good point. We speak of quadrants. If you're not aware, the quadrant dissection, I guess for lack of a better word, is the intersection of Florida Avenue and Columbus Drive. So if you live in the northwest quadrant of that intersection of streets, that is the Northwest Quadrant for the Tampa Heights Civic Association. Okay? And it follows, as you might expect, by the compass for northeast, southeast, and southwest. All right. We have Aaron McCormick here tonight somewhere. Aaron, you here? I asked Aaron to come. For those of you who were here at the last meeting, she gave us a presentation on the Grand Cathedral. shop over on Florida Avenue, and there have been some developments. So, Aaron, if you would bring us up to speed, you have a couple of minutes.
Oh, thanks. Thank you to everybody that came to the hearing, January 25th. It seems like it's been longer than a month. It was a 7-hour hearing, 7 hours for the people that were there, and very interesting. So it ended up with a 7-day suspension starting February 12th, so right after Super Bowl, for 7 days. If you have time, go watch the video. It was very interesting, and there's not really many updates except they're still working on. So the day before the hearing, they had filed the building permits that they should have filed before they opened the building. So we still have to monitor that to make sure that everything's going to plan. And heaven forbid they try to rezone the patio area to, what is it, CI? CI, commercial? Right now the patio area is zoned residential. So there's a possibility they could try to change the zoning to commercial, which then it would, then they would be able to serve and sell or serve and consume alcohol out there on the patio. So that's something that we kind of have to be aware of and just keep an eye out for. But it was nice that all of our concerns were validated. I'm very, very proud of our city council representative, Councilwoman Hurtek. She was, oh goodness, just a force. And then with Lynn, the two women up there, I was just so impressed. It was the first time I've ever been in a situation like that before, and I was just very proud of the people, the women that are representing us, specifically Gwen Henderson. So that's about it. Just, we did it. Yay. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Those of you who were here for the January meeting will have a clue of what it is that Aaron was just talking about. If you're new to this topic, you're probably scratching your head wondering what she's talking about. Unfortunately, we don't have time to get into all the weeds of this. But if you do want to learn more about the saga that is Grand Cathedral, Erin is certainly the tip of the spear on that issue for the neighborhood, whether she wanted to be or not. She sort of drafted herself into it. And, you can reach out to me too. I'm reasonably well informed on it. I sat through most of the hearing, and it was quite an event. Okay, let's see. Our next meeting is March the 27th, if you want to mark that on your calendars. We're still working on who we're going to have, but I think, is it okay to mention who we're going to have, or are we not that far along, Lena? Okay, so never mind. We're having a meeting on March the 27th, and we'll let you know who will be here, okay? If it's who I think it's going to be, it'll be very interesting. All right. I think that now takes us to our presentations. Yes. Yeah, Brian, go ahead.
Thank you. I'll just make two quick announcements. The first is our Land Use Committee meeting is next Tuesday, March 5th at 10 a.m. via Zoom. We have a presentation from the development group that's put forth a rezoning for the southeast corner of Columbus in Florida. So the block, it's almost an entire block there. They're coming back to meet with us. It's in the historic district and has contributing historic structures they're seeking demolition of. So if you're interested in that topic, and we have a few other small cases to review, but we have a great land use committee. So mark your calendars for that Tuesday, March 5th, 10 a.m. via Zoom. Email Tampa Heights Civic Association at gmail.com if you would like a link to participate, or if you are interested in becoming a regular member of that committee. Then second announcement is a fun announcement. I haven't even told the board this because I just found out, but we applied for a $5,000 grant from the Tampa Downtown Partnership, and we won it. So I just found that out. And it is for a family-friendly
art project is the best description of it. We're not going to announce everything because it's still in the early stages of it, but it's very exciting. And if you are interested in that, be on the lookout for more details. We're going to form a formal committee for it and get to work on it soon. But it's great that we won the grant for that. Thanks.
Cool. Thank you. And notice the professional way that he handled the 2 mics. All right, much better than me, but he's been practicing for a year or 2. So, but anyway, I'll learn. The master. Okay. Before we get into the actual presentations, let me just say thank you to our hosts tonight, Armature Works. Got Adam Harden. Adam Harden here to my right, and Stacy Good, who is the Senior Marketing Events Manager in the back managing, tonight she's managing the bar that has no bar goodies, but in any event, Stacy has been particularly helpful with all the logistics, and Adam, as always, appreciate your hosting us tonight. Our first presentation and presenter will be Adam Harden, to talk about the Armature Works Master Development and Operations updates. And the second presentation will be from the Tampa Housing Authority and PMG Development. They'll be talking about the Robles Park Village redevelopment update. With that said, Adam, the floor and the podium and the 2 mics are all yours. Good luck, brother. Here you go.
Was that aiming at me or them? Okay, gotcha. All right, I'm gonna kind of start backwards. I appreciate y'all all coming, and the turnout's great. Thank you. We met last fall to discuss event operations here, and specifically a couple of large events that a few folks had concerns with, and so these are for short people. So we met last year to talk about event operations here. As you know, we do a significant amount of public event, activations. It was part of the commitment that we made when we opened Armature Works. And after that, I had said to Stacy that I felt like we needed to encourage a joint meeting of Ridgewood and Tampa Heights quarterly and offer a space for them to do that. The last few meetings of Tampa Heights I've been to, the turnout wasn't amazing, and I felt like also I think Ridgewood and Tampa Heights interacting would be beneficial. So to that end, I started reaching out to the kind of recent consecutive presidents and pass it down the lane, ended up with, I'm scheduled to give you a presentation on the development apparently. So I found that out this morning. So I'm going to first talk about the events, and then I'm going to, and I'd love to talk about the development, any day, all day. So as you know, when we took over the historic building, the roof was falling in. We committed, among other things, to reactivate the building and make it kind of the heart and soul of the development. So as you've seen, it came forward with 16 local vendors, 30,000 square foot event space, 2 pin corner restaurants. Basically, we track the job creation here. We opened with a mandatory minimum wage of $13.50 6 years ago. And, you know, again, I can't reiterate all local vendors that we selected from a list of 50, and we felt like that was important. The facility here has grown. Last year, we, as part of the mission, had 450 free community activation events. And I put the schedule for the first 5 months of this year on the table if anybody wants a copy. It's also, Stacy can email it to you. But basically, you know, everything from, you know, Todd Olympics, stroller, yoga, yoga in the yard, music activations, Armature Works Run Club, the book club, and, you know, the list goes on and on. So we're on track to eclipse that pace this year. And again, you know, that's the facility's kind of gift back to the community. What we, you know, we really felt like we would get 2 things out of Armature Works, and one was to attract new brain-based creative jobs to Tampa, you know, my hometown where I'm from. And the other was to, you know, really activate a place that could anchor the north end of the Riverwalk and be a place that Tampa Heights and Ridgewood and Riverside Heights can be proud of. So we hope we've done that. I will, you know, so for New Year's, I know there were some complaints about the Halloween carnival. Some folks felt like it was too loud. For New Year's, we moved the stage to the pier and, you know, had no actual formal, you know, complaints, if you will, on that. So hopefully that is that's an improvement that we'll try to maintain through future events. So that's, you know, anyway, the event program. Stacy Good is still the point person on that. So if anybody has input, things they'd like to see us do, we'd love to hear it. So, sorry, I'm used to wandering around and standing up straight, so this 2 microphone thing's weird. The site's journey for us started a long time ago. We, you know, acquired a portion of the debt on the waterfront property and started reassembling a development that we felt wasn't really well thought out. You know, it reminded me of a West Chase Town Center kind of suburban light kind of plan, something that didn't really support the urban place that the Heights should be. You know, we're essentially occupy, the CRA is 75 acres at the bottom of the busiest down ramp on the Gulf Coast of Florida, and the ability for this to be a central gathering place, transit-oriented development, and, you know, really the heart of a neighborhood that when we started here was a food desert. You know, there wasn't a place in, you know, my home's in Seminole Heights, so yeah, I'm like from way up north, a mile and a half. You know, there wasn't a place to get your hair cut, no place to grab a sandwich. So, you know, we had to pull the Band-Aid off speech, as I call it, on the top of the Beck building. And, you know, I think most folks were supportive, some were skeptical, but, you know, we not only promised activation of this historic building, but we said the story of the jobs, the story of the development was going to be about new jobs coming to Tampa. We weren't going to, you know, use placemaking as advertising, and we weren't going to have a personality-driven development where we talked about ourselves, and we were going to get a grocery store. So, you know, fast forward, you can get your hair cut across the street. We have a Sprouts Fresh Market. We have a Branch Bank and Trust, and you know, I think, and more than one place to grab a sandwich. So, moving forward, the next phases of development you'll see on the screen as the Circle 18, which is a high-rise structure on the end of the existing parking garage. We had, you know, become a little timid and had pulled the hotel out of the tower, had moved it across Tampa, and had branded it with a corporate brand. we now are feeling, you know, a little, we're back in our lane. So, you know, we've given the corporate brand back. We're going to build a boutique hotel branded around Armature Works. It anchors the bottom of the apartment tower, the bottom 7 floors. The amenity for the tower is on the top of the parking garage. It's already constructed, and we will break ground on that by the fall of this year. The next phase of development that you'll see coming forward is Block 12, which is phase 2 of the Pearl. It's similar in scale to the Pearl. It will have a 7-story facing Palm Avenue, fully lined with retail, and will again take on that townhome form with front doors that address Ross, just like Pearl Phase 1 does. So I think a couple other points I'd like to touch on. I know that I don't want to take up too much time here. Well, Block 4 is fully permitted, phase 2 of the office, and really the final phase of a significant office. It's 265,000 square feet. Of course, those of you who were at the last presentation know Block 1 or Block 2 is the phase 1 of the office. It was 300,000 square feet. It's fully leased. The anchor tenants there are Axogen, which is a biomedical tissue company. They have a small research facility there and their corporate main office. They also maintain a research facility on the campus of the University of Florida. Pfizer, Double Line Bonds, Amwins Insurance, DPR Construction, and several others. White and Case, which is a silk stocking law firm that established a back office here out of New York. We feel like the Pfizer presence here is special among the 3 World Support Centers they constructed. Their CFO maintains his second home in Sarasota and has an office here, and we think that's significant and hope if they grow in Tampa that they will grow here. Phase 4 is in pre-leasing. We have a couple good tenants that are not yet announced, and we're near the threshold where we will break ground on that. Currently, the Community Redevelopment Agency is rewriting the Height CRA plan, and we have met with the crew that's working on it. I know that the advisory board for the CRA has met with them as well. It's in the early stages, but I would encourage anybody in the neighborhood who's interested in that to be cognizant that that's going on and to participate. One of the things that we would like to see happen through that is for us to expand some of these activations that we're doing to the stage and Waterworks Park. We feel like putting some better permanent infrastructure in for the stage sound system and stuff like that would be thrifty. It would allow us to lower the bar of entry for local, artists and to move the events further from the residences. So we were talking to the Parks Department about that. Anyway, with that said, I'm going to still not walk around and stand right here. Oh, look, I'm cordless. Oh, wow. I'm freed. I guess I'll open the floor to any questions. Yes, sir. Repeat the question, please. And yes, 2 uses on 1 block, and it'll break ground this fall. It'll be fall as well. The office is we're pre-leasing, and we have the permit in hand. So and they've put the fence up. We're probably going to start deep foundation soon, but it'll be we need one more tenant. So All right, sorry about that.
Just remind you, if you got a question from the floor, either come up here and share the mic and ask the question, or ask the presenter, please, if you would, just repeat the question for these folks.
How's that? Is that better?
Is it on?
Says it's on.
Yeah, it says it's on.
The sure is this one, right? The one of them's orange. That's yours. And that one's working. Okay. Gotcha. Hey, whoa. There you go. Hey, wait, you're the guy who's good at being behind the microphone. You come up here, I'll tell you what to say. Yes.
I'm curious where, I know right now all of these staff, I believe park in, is that quadrant 11 or 10 right now? When you begin construction, will there be additional parking for them? Because I know that parking can be a challenge in this area.
Yes, well, each component part of the project is self-parked, so is fully parked. So, and you know, the garage over here has 1,469 parking spaces as well. So part of it is, and we've started in earnest, you know, working harder as of December to direct folks over there with the larger events, and so we're, you know, I mean, it's a two-edged sword because we. You know, we would like to encourage transit in a walkable place and encourage folks who have, and encourage, you know, one car ownership and use of multimodal means of transportation, scooters, e-bikes, and all that stuff. So, you know, it's a two-edged sword. So the Pearl Phase 2 will be parked at 1.7, 1.8 spaces per apartment. So, yes.
I heard a conspiracy theory that the water tower is in storage somewhere. Can you confirm or deny this? And furthermore, I'd just also like to know, will the water tower still be placed in the development somewhere? Just asking for curiosity's sake.
So the water tower is in storage, and I'm not committing whether it's going to show up or not, but I would love to see it here. Yes, sir.
Yes, I live in the neighborhood.
Yes, sir.
Frequently ride my bicycle to the Armature works and have to tether my bicycle to some mechanical equipment because there are no bike stands around the Armature works. The closest bike stand is over by the Beck Construction. Are you going to provide bike racks in the development, and will you provide bikeways, dedicated bike and scooter ways in this urban design?
So as you know, the roads are constructed. Excuse me. The city's walk bike plan includes a bike lane up Highland, back down Tampa, both sides of Palm Avenue, and then we're currently working on the extension of the Riverwalk extends as an urban trail. You see around the Cruisacade side, around the roundabout, and connects to the. That's obnoxious, and connects to the Swiftmud Linear Park that goes through the middle of Glenwood. So basically, a continuous connection through. I think that it's a good observation. We could use more bike racks, and part of them disappeared when they. I don't know what happened to them, but there were more in the back lot. You know, we tried to have a large bike farm area there because of the small nature of the sidewalks around Armature. I would point out that there's a bike rack at the rear corner of the building as well, currently there. Any more questions? Yes, sir.
Question about the commercial development at the site 4. How's the pre-leasing going with that site, and have you secured any?
Well, you know, we don't really have any individual anchor in the last building. So, but the leasing's close, and we expect the building to go in the ground this year. Permits are in hand. We're probably going to break ground on the foundations in the next 90 days, the deep foundations. You're wearing a blue blazer, so assuming you're in the business, you realize that the jumping off threshold for office is currently a little higher. And I joke because I hate when development's painted with a broad brush, but I certainly wouldn't want to be buying office in New York or hotels in San Francisco right now. So yes, sir.
Yeah, I know maybe it's outside the project, but you or your company control the area west of Boulevard.
Yes, we
So that's gonna be a what, a townhouse building?
it's going to be lower scale. Yes, just like the backside of the Pearl, but so.
And that is currently not included, right?
Right, correct. Oh, the question was what was the nature of the development for the land where the old city credit union and teachers union property were on the west side of Boulevard, and the answer was that it'll be a lower form of development that dovetails with the neighborhood. We don't have any plans yet. We would like to see the road short circuit gotten rid of, and the Cruisacade accessed from a roundabout, and so that Riverwalk connection, if you will, that urban trail connection becomes pedestrian friendly, and those trees over there become a nice moment for the neighborhood. So that's you can kind of see the plan taking form here. You next. Yes, ma'am. No, we were conscripted and then demanded to be let out. So I don't, I could go on a whole thing about my feelings about Tampa and the marketing of Tampa. And, I think that we just got to own being Tampa, where I'm over being America's next great city. And I feel like, we need new leadership when it comes to some of that stuff. But so no, we won't be joining the downtown partnership. One more? Yeah. Okay, so I'm better off to just go with one. Yeah, and I'm just having like a Laurel Oak pollen moment up here, so I apologize. I thought I was doing a good thing by going on a 6-mile walk Sunday, and I woke up, feeling like I needed an EpiPen.
God is in the
Okay, there you go. Crazy. So I apologize. Where were we? We had one more over here. Okay, so it cut out again. What do I have to keep shaking it? Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Testing, testing.
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
So we'll screw the Zoom people. We'll just talk on this one. All right, there you go again. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. Hello. Hello. So now, is this what we got? All right. Sync Green's doubled over back there. So, no, please, no. We have one more question in the back row. All right, well, thanks. I don't know who's here from the Housing Authority, but I'd be happy to cede the dais here. And thanks again for the invite. And I'd like to reiterate, let's do this every quarter, and let's get Ridgewood over here, and let's get Riverside Heights down here. But, let's fill the room up. And, I think it would be be a good next iteration of the neighborhood thing. I mean, up to y'all, of course, but I'm happy to provide the space.
Brian, I don't mean to put you, is Brian Seal still here? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but do you want to introduce this spot? You've kind of been on top of this particular presentation.
All right. I think Dan, you're running point on this tonight, correct? So I know we have a couple representatives from the Housing Authority as well as PMG and Bank of America Community Development here tonight. But Dan Coakley from PMG Affordable Development, along with I think Baker Barrios has some representatives here, who's the project architect. But Dan's been our key point of contact here. He's the lead on this development. They about, I'd say, twice a year have been meeting with us, and Dan reached back out because they were awarded their HUD grant and therefore are now moving forward with their development plans. They've met with us the last time they met with us, last fall, I believe it was. We got an update on some of the physical updates to the plan, as well as some of the social impacts of that as well to the residents and the surrounding community. So with that, I'll welcome Dan up and introduce him and let you take it from there. Thanks.
Should I just say to you when to jump? Okay. Try this out. My name is Eileen. Do you want to come up? Why not? No? All right. Okay. Come on, David. All right. Well, thank you for having us here. My name's Dan Coakley. I'm the principal with PMG, part of the development team on this project, along with Bank of America Community Development Company, headed by Eileen Pope here, and David Alonia, the Director of Development for the Tampa Housing Authority. This has been a multi-year effort in community outreach by our development team. I think we've had a very good dialogue with your organization, Tampa Heights Civic Association. We've been meeting with council members over the last couple of weeks and have been getting great, feedback and responses and very positive encouragement in moving forward with the rezoning process. And I forgot to introduce David Smith, who is with Stearns Weaver on the land use zoning side, and Camille Gooden and Eric Ryder with Baker Barrios, our architect on this development, and others. So we just wanted to give you an update. The project has sort of moved a little bit more slowly than we had hoped, just because HUD took a while to approve the relocation and demolition plan. So that took us probably 6-9 months longer than we thought it was going to. So that happened, and now Tampa Housing Authority has been running the tenant relocation process in earnest over the last 4 months. We have space at Sacred Heart right next to the development where we're having those tenant meetings, and we expect that process to take the better part of this year. While that happens, maybe we can we flip to the The next one. So this is sort of just an aerial two-dimension of the current plan that we've discussed with your members in the past. You can see Lake Avenue, there is the Spine Road. We will likely develop the southern half of the property first. You can see the sort of downward shaped U building. We call that parcel D. That and the senior building right next to it will probably be the first vertical sites to be developed. And the building in the middle, parcel D, will also house the Hub Resource Center facility, which is going to provide supportive services and 30,000 square feet facility for the community. Things like childcare, healthcare, mental health care, tutoring, classrooms, computers, really, spaced by colleges and training, and it's going to be great. So if we can go. All right, you obviously know where the site is. Let's keep going. Maybe to the actual plan itself. A couple more. Okay, that one. One back, sorry. Yeah, so this is the master plan. We obviously have a lot of slides here for council members that haven't had the background that your organization has with the project. These are all this is the plan that we're presenting to planning and zoning. And we're planning on submitting it by, I think, March 19th date. The plan shows 1,850 units. About 2/3 of that is affordable, from 0 to 80% AMI, and about 1/3 will be unrestricted market rate, including sort of the middle income housing between 80 and 120% AMI. Again, we're focused on the rezoning process now. This will likely probably take 5 or 6 months. We've got a lot of support from the city, and I think everyone's excited about this project finally happening, including the residents. We have had hundreds of meetings with residents. Riva is here and has been a great supporter of the project from the beginning. And we're going to be meeting with the residents and surrounding community also Tuesday next week at the property in 2 sessions. So I know I sort of blew through that, but I know you're the smartest and most informed community group that we speak to, so I just want to leave an opportunity for a lot of questions and for the whole group.
Correct. Yes, so we're still working out the access there. Right now, we're showing a roundabout to sort of make the access easier. It cuts into that development parcel a little bit, so we're trying to work through that. And we've been speaking to the city about our desire to actually improve the park, amenitize the park, really integrate it as an underutilized amenity for the whole area. And also, Eileen, do you want to speak about sort of our conversations on the art side and connecting with the soul walks?
Hi, my name is Eileen Pope, Bank of America Community Development Company. So we've been having multiple regular meetings with Robin Nye, Director of the City Art Department. And what we do and have always done in all the developments that I've ever been involved with, I've been here for 22 years doing development in Tampa. We always try to incorporate some of the historic background of the neighborhood, and we do that through many different ways. are. So we're trying to figure out how to, we've had a lot of discussion on what kind of art we're going to be incorporating in the site. We also wanted to tie into the soul walk that's being done in Tampa. So this will be one of the destinations of the soul walk.
Yes. No, Lena.
Did you acquire Mohammed's property that dilapidated on the corner of Emily and Central? The two buildings that he has there?
No. The housing authority bought two properties up at the corner of Lake and Central.
I know about that.
Yeah, and so that was the source of a lot of, problems in the neighborhood, and so those have been acquired and will be part of the master plan that we're submitting. The other properties, which I know are, some of which are for sale, we're speaking to adjacent landowners, but they haven't acquired.
I have two questions. The first is that the existing project has been there for many years.
Mm-hmm.
And the oak trees around the project have grown tremendously. Does your project design take into consideration and recognize the presence of those trees? Can you repeat that question?
So the question was that the property has been here for a long time, and there's a number of, old grand oaks on the property that are beautiful, and have our plans taken that into account? The answer is for sure. If you see sort of the area here, the middle of the lower part of the property, there's a really beautiful cluster of grand oaks there. We've had our community meetings there from the beginning. We're leaving that in place. It's a irreplaceable, amenity. There are other trees on the property that will have to, come down, but we definitely have taken that into consideration, or trying to preserve as much of it as we can. And so that, hopefully that answers the question.
And secondly, I had read many stories about the presence of an African-American cemetery.
Absolutely. So the question was about an African-American cemetery associated with the property. And if you take a look at the very top left of the diagram, the northwest part of the diagram, is Zion Cemetery. And that is the oldest African-American cemetery in Tampa, at least that. And, unfortunately, in the 30s and 40s, headstones were removed, buildings were built on top, of people resting there. And obviously it was a tremendous injustice. This is not the only place it's happened. It's, happened, on the historic gas plant deal that we pursued in St. Petersburg, it was there. Number of other examples, unfortunately, across Florida. There is a Zion Cemetery Preservation Board that's been in place for the last couple of years, I think. I'm not on the board, but I sit on all those meetings and calls. Reva is here, who's on the board. Fred Hearns, who's a great friend of the project, is the chairman of the board. And we're still working out the land acquisition or incorporation of the land into the overall plan. There's a couple of parcels up there that are privately owned, one by the Gosmart family and the Creasy family, and that's underway. So those discussions are underway between the city and those private owners about potential land swaps to make that happen, and we're highly confident that that will happen. While the Zion Cemetery portion of the land is not going to be included in our rezoning application because we don't control the land, it's an extremely important part, central part of our development. What we are planning for there is, you know, a park, a memorial, a genealogy center, and obviously not doing anything with hardscape or covering any of the land, but you know, making a park there that is, you know, an area for reflection and, you know, and respect and education of the injustice that happened there, so people can know and learn about it. So go ahead in the back. So sorry. Not as of yet. I mean, it's definitely a target of ours, but you know, these are private landowners around the site, so we're in discussions with a number of them. But at this point, we have to submit an application to move the project forward. And you know, we'll continue to have these conversations with adjacent property owners, including that one, to try to facilitate you know, better access and, you know, sort of integration of the bus stop that will be there at the corner. And we're, you know, in conversations with Hart about that. I'm sorry, sir. You were... Yeah, absolutely. So there's provision for a grocery store in the in parcel BA, which is sort of the furthest left building closest to Florida Avenue. And then the buildings to the right of that, which have a curvilinear design, both have retail that front faces basically the green area and Lake Avenue. So our vision is that Lake Avenue be a very pedestrian-friendly, you know, retail and commercial-oriented strip, and to provide, you know, whether it's residents or members of the community locally, the opportunity to have small business frontage there as well. And the hub facility, which will be, you know, the services center in parcel D, just south of Lake Avenue, you know, we'll have an opportunity for that as well. And I think we have right now retail programs on the northern part of the parcel AA and AB. In between there, we want to activate another retail strip on both sides of the street. Yes, so in between here on the ground floor, sort of that area. So I think we actually have between the hub facility and the grocer and other areas, you know, upwards of 75,000 square feet of retail and commercial. Lena, okay. All right. Sorry, sir. So the question was, how many phases are we going to have in the anticipation of time frame? There are 9 sort of distinct phases of this project. If you look at, oops, it was the first time it happened. Okay, sorry, all right. If you just look at it block by block, there are 9 phases. It doesn't mean they are going to all be one after the next after the next. Some will be developed simultaneous. In terms of when the project will start, we have to get through the zoning process, and we also have to apply for funding for the affordable housing phases. We are looking to submit funding applications probably for the round that is August, September of this year. So a construction loan closing on those first phases would sort of have a corresponding date in late 2025. So apply late 2024, mid to late 2025, we'll be starting construction. Hopefully units. One is a family demographic affordable, and the one to the east, E, is a senior demographic. So because of that, and also E will be developed by a third-party developer, the related companies. So because there are two different developers, and one is a family and one is a senior, they can be developed simultaneously. C, the one at the very bottom toward the park, would probably next after that. And then we would move to the northern part of the site, which currently shows five phases. And then the townhomes itself could be one phase, sort of sold to a home builder. Those are for sale townhomes, 42 of them. It might be one home builder that buys it and builds it all. It might be several small home builders because of the way those are clustered. And the timing of the development of that, it could be simultaneous with any of it. It's just a matter of when the market is there for it. Lena?
So two questions. I just heard you say the time frame. Are all the residents going to be moved out at once now, or is it going to be phased?
No, it's always been, the reason why it took so much time with HUD is they like to see phased demolition and phased relocation and demolition. So a little bit at a time, demolish this part of the property, put tenants from this part of the property over there, develop it and bring them back and do it like that. When we spent, a lot of time in community meetings with the residents, they really did not want that. It was extremely important to them to have everything demolished, for them to be off-site, for us to do our thing, and to try to get them back as soon as possible. So that was a big part of the delay with HUD because they're not used to that, but that's how Tampa Housing Authority, BACDC, has always done it, for example, on Encore and other deals. So that's what we're doing. We are doing the tenant relocation now. When that happens, we will demo either probably toward the end of the year and throughout next year as we prepare for construction loan closing. We'll do the demo, we'll do some of the site work, and then we'll start developing.
So, the reason I asked that is, David, I don't know how you all manage the guys that just hang out there, on Lake or Central, on the security, safety issues.
Could you repeat that question, please?
The question is concerned regarding security, because you still have people that hang out around the property, given the nature of behavior. We are very mindful of that, and we did that. We won't get too much down so that that's why we also have our own in-house security that also controls that area. So we are very constantly controlling that area to make sure that it's safe. We recognize the nature of that area, but that's what we have to keep doing until we get it done.
Until everybody's gone, then you think it'll be gone, or what do you think?
Yes, once everybody's gone, down. And also we have the developer in place, and they will have the, once the construction starts, they'll be responsible for the site safety. So, in partnership, we are working hard, and Riva also been controlling there, communicating to us. I mean, Jerome Brown is our CEO, also control that area. So everybody is involved, making sure that we. So what happens?
The guest rate kind of from the resident out by yourself. So we're trying to get everyone out by yourself. Everybody on that section, everyone on that section is moved down. Those kids spend all that area up, order up, fence it up. Hopefully, those individuals will move along.
I want them to move across the street.
We're going to that and see what you can do, that you build it up, and get money to that.
we do know in our experience, right? This will take about a year for the take about a year for our village. So we did everything now, since we've been given that rule. So we've been around residents, educating them, advising them, showing them all the options that are available, so that they can shift their decision. Just one more. You have a lot of questions.
I do. On Lake Avenue to Florida Avenue on the south side, which is where, there are the kids. So between Florida Avenue and, Avon, no, that's not Avon. That's street in between there. Didn't have any sidewalks planned on the, project that we saw before, and we talked about that at our last meeting. Have you all put the sidewalks there on Florida Avenue, going east on Lake, on the south side?
So the issue is that we don't control the land on the north. First of all, the north side, there's a little stub that we don't control, because that's where the satellite is. On the south side, that's Sacred Heart. We have actually now entered into a lease with Sacred Heart, because that's where our project office is going to be. So we have built goodwill there. We have a good relationship there. We have our project office there, and we're doing all the tenant relocation meetings there. So that is something that's, you know, a big important item for that. I would anticipate that will happen. I mean, this has to be a safe, you know, it wouldn't make any sense not to have it safe and walkable from Florida over to where the hub center is and where all the retail is and everything like that. Oh, yes, sir.
I'm a strong believer that development and mobility need to progress together. Your project is going to make a great impact visually on this community. Will we see that much of a difference in mobility and transportation? Are you working strongly with the different transportation organizations?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that, you know, first of all, what we're doing will be to better connect this property, which is basically the hole in the donut, you know, connect the street grid so it becomes part of the whole area rather than this is Robles. You know, oh, you don't go to Robles, that's Robles. This is now going to be connected. It's going to be part of the whole area, part of the whole community. And yeah, we're working closely with Hart. I mean, the opportunity to have a bus stop. Obviously, they're redoing, you know, Florida entirely and Central, and that's a huge part of our development. The gentleman talked about parking before. The city very much wants this to be a transit-oriented development. I don't think this is going to be a very heavily parked development. You know, so we think this is really going to be a major transit-oriented development. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry about that. The question was, do we have a number of the Grand Oaks that will be preserved and not preserved? I don't have that answer for you, but I can certainly respond to Brian, respond to the group. He can circulate it. We have an arborist report. I'm happy to share those things for sure. for, so the question was that all right, so the question was, how many units are there currently that we're replacing with our 1,850 unit plan? There's 433 units, obviously all are public housing affordable. Of the 1,850, 2/3 of it is affordable, so over 1,200. So 3 times the amount of affordable housing, and then another 600 market rate unrestricted units. So are any of the townhomes affordable? I was like, oh. Yeah, so 15%, six of the 42 townhomes will be subsidized and affordable. And the issue is that part of the way that we need to finance the significant amount of site work and infrastructure costs are through land sales, parcel sales. The townhomes are one of the only components that is not being developed by us as the master developer. They're or Related, who's developing a couple of phases. So we're developing everything except BA is a market rate parcel. That'll be sold to a third-party developer. It might be us who buys it, but that will generate proceeds to be able to move it forward. And selling the townhomes will generate proceeds to be able to move it forward. So, we had to strike a balance between the value that THA and we need to receive to be able to move some of the front-end costs forward and affordability on that. Yes, sir. I'm going to turn it over to Camille Gooden, who's a landscape architect, among other things, and partner at Baker Barrios. You can answer that. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, so the question was, can you repeat the question? Like, what is the nature of what kind of trees are lining Lake Avenue there? What's the nature of that?
We anticipate that most of the street trees will be shade trees. We have not yet designated the exact species for each street. We do want the streets to have different characters. So again, a variety of trees will be selected because again, that's nice to have biodiversity as well. But yes, we anticipate where we have appropriate room, and we are trying to put all of these trees outboard so they're as far away from the building as they can be so that we can get some canopy, that these will be shade trees whenever possible. There will be, again, some mix of other understory trees, some flowering trees, but yes, we absolutely anticipate that over time that you will have beautiful shaded roadways here in the new Robles Park. It'll be absolutely, again, gorgeous.
Brian. No, it's one master development. We're the master developer. Related's a vertical developer of a couple parcels. They will need to coordinate with us. Oh, I didn't repeat the question. I'm sorry. I'm not used to this format. Come on. All right. So the question was, Related has a couple of vertical parcels. Are they going to be able to just develop it on their own? Or is it going to be under the master developer umbrella? It's under the master developer umbrella. We're going in for zoning. including their pieces. It's all one development. They're a vertical developer that will have to be compliant with the zoning and with the spirit of the overall master development plan. Design standards and.
Any other questions? Is there anything online? No? That's it?
Okay, thank you very much for having us. I'm sorry about that.
Guys, that takes care of our program. Is there anything anyone needed to say for the good of the order? Any announcements? Yes, sir?
So, I went all into the YMCA yesterday, a lot of communication was good. I just wanted to get an update, talk to the zoning administrators in charge of the project. Have resubmitted their master site plan, which is what's required from the ED. Inconsistencies in there that I want to make sure I'm aware of, and track down and I'll figure out that's submitted yet, but based on what they're supposed to get to for their public hearing, which is March 21st, they still haven't done a lot of things on that plan that they told us they're going to do. So I'm a little concerned. So I can talk emails, but I'm not saying that they're not going to fix it, but right now the zoning administrators as well. They haven't done that. They haven't done that.
All right, folks, we managed to get it all done in an hour and 20 minutes. We started late, so thank you very much for being here. To the presenters, thank you. Very informative. We'll see you next month. We're adjourned.